Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here, and welcome back to my week of Halloween madness. All the time that I've spent with Warhammer End Times Vermintide has me thinking about Left 4 Dead, and then it occurred to me that I never really talked about this game at all on the channel, and it's one of those games that at this point it kind of has nostalgic feelings because the original one came out 7 years ago, if you can believe that. It's almost been a decade. And then a year later, we got Left 4 Dead 2, which was kind of a little bit of controversy, if I remember it right. But I'm going to be getting into that in a moment. Right around the time the original Left 4 Dead came out, we hadn't really seen anything like that at all. I do remember, however, having a PC that wasn't very powerful, but it was powerful enough to play games like Counter-Strike. So I remember hopping into Counter-Strike, and there was a mod for that. And it didn't even really run that good because the computer really wasn't that great. It was one of my first computers, and it was just a piece of shit, to be honest. But I remember playing mods with zombies, and then Left 4 Dead was announced, and I believe people had said something about it being part of a mod for the whole Source engine, the Counter-Strike Source engine thing that was going on at the time, and it did kind of remind me of that when it first came out. Obviously, though, it was much more evolved than that, but it was interesting because to me it felt like it just took elements of what the community was already doing, but it just was much more refined. To be honest with you guys, I'm not sure about the particulars because back then I was mostly a console gamer, and my friends actually convinced me to get an Xbox 360. I was one of those guys who held on to his PS2 for way too long. I did not want to move on. I still view the PlayStation 2 as one of the best consoles of all time. I was definitely a Sony fanboy. I had PlayStation 1, and then I moved on to PS2, and I was going to pick up a PS3 eventually, but my friends convinced me to get a 360. And for whatever reason, I listened to them, and I ended up getting a 360 instead of a PS3. But at that time, it just seemed to me like PC gaming wasn't really anything to get into. I feel that now it's something that I think everybody, if you're a serious gamer, you should have a gaming rig. Maybe that's just me, but I digress. What had happened is I got the 360, and then the demo for the game came out, but I was watching videos for it, and I was really anticipating it because it just looked amazing. I mean, it blew me away seeing what they were doing with this game, and the co-op and the versus mode. It just looks so much fun. So the demo, I believe, released on 360. It allowed you to play online. I think it was only co-op though. I'm not certain if they had a versus mode. And I remember going through and playing it. I think it was the Mercy Hospital. Yeah, it was Mercy Hospital. I think that was the only level that they allowed you to play in that demo. And then all of a sudden the demo was gone. They took it down because the game had come out. And immediately I was jonesing for more. So I went out and I got the game. All my friends got the game. And it worked out there were four of us. We were childhood friends for years. And sadly, I don't really keep in contact with those guys anymore. You get older and that kind of shit happens. But at that time, we all got the game, and we just dominated everybody. I mean, the first thing we did is we hopped into versus mode because we had already played enough of the co-op to understand how that worked. So we wanted to hop online and play as the infected, and we destroyed everybody because you got to figure most of the people that were playing the game were just in pugs. They were in pickup groups. They were just randoms playing together. We were organized. We knew what we were doing. And it was just so much fun to strategize. And man, I was heavily addicted to that game. We used to get on every night. Whenever I got out of work, I was just dying to get home and play it. You know, we would ambush at just the right time. One of my friends would smoke or pull someone away, you know, away from the pack, and then I'd come in as a boomer and explode on everybody when they gathered up, and then the hunter would come in, and it was just so much fun. I miss those days because now when I play Left 4 Dead, I'm not playing with those guys, and I do still play it on Steam from time to time, but it's just not the same. Back then, it was just complete and total domination to the point where we actually did start to get bored because we just rolled over everybody. But then something strange started to happen. People started to do shady shit. push the forklift in front of the door to where you couldn't progress and you lost. People started to exploit, and I remember that very very vividly because it caused a lot of rage. There were problems with people pushing stuff in front of the elevator door in Mercy Hospital. I believe it was the Mercy Hospital level, and yeah, just the kind of shit that happens when you go online. People just can't play legit, and I remember that being an issue. But to our surprise, Left 4 Dead 2 came out exactly a year later. I believe it was November 17th of 2009. Only a year later, and we were very surprised by that because we're like, wow, that was kind of fast. A year can go by quickly, but it just felt like it was just really, really rushed out there, just too quick. Like it could have been DLC or something. And I remember people being upset about that. They're like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And there was some backlash with Valve, and it seems to me like Valve was like, "Okay, fuck you guys, we'll never make another one again." And here we are, 6 years later, and we haven't gotten a new Left 4 Dead. Where's Left 4 Dead 3? That's what I want to know. I want Left 4 Dead 3 so bad, guys. I want it so bad. And I know there's a lot of people waiting for it. It's kind of like Half-Life 3. Everybody's like, "Yeah, that's never going to happen." And if it does, it's going to change the world. People are just waiting for that. And that's part of the reason why I got into Warhammer End Times Vermintide. I know people think that's just a ripoff of Left 4 Dead. You can call it that if you want to. But to me, it's kind of like playing Left 4 Dead 3. It's giving me something to do. And I was hoping Evolve would be, my next Left 4 Dead title, but that just did not work out at all. But in terms of Left 4 Dead 2, I did enjoy it. I felt like it brought quite a bit to the series. Not just with the characters, but the levels were really nice. I like the fact that they added the spitter and the charger. There was like a female version of the boomer, which really didn't do anything. But they added the jockey. They added the mode where you had to gather up the fuel canisters. I really liked playing as a spitter because I used to just troll the shit out of people in the mall. I just spit all over the gas cans. And a lot of good memories with Left 4 Dead. It's definitely a nostalgic title, and it feels strange because it seems like time just gets away from you. It seems like it wasn't that long ago. If I had to really nail it and say when I feel like Left 4 Dead came out, I'd say, oh, the original one came out like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. That's what it feels like to me. But no, it's been 7 years. Well, in less than a month. Let's not take that less than a month away from us, right? I mean, time fucking flies. It's kind of depressing, but yeah, I was hoping that Left 4 Dead 3 or even 4 would be out by now. With the way they released 2, I thought, damn, they're gonna do this annually, but nope, they just stopped it right there. And I have been using mods and stuff with Left 4 Dead 2 just to spice it up a bit. And it's kind of strange coming from 360 because I got really, really good with the controller in that game to where it was just, it was stupid. I was so good, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, and I don't mind coming off as an elitist. I was really good at it. So now with the mouse and keyboard, that completely changes things up. People are really really good with the mouse and keyboard, and I wouldn't say I'm a novice with it, but I'm kind of like a journeyman, if you will. I'm not like pro. I don't hop into Counter-Strike and headshot people instantly. Some of these guys are insanely skilled. I don't consider myself to be anywhere at that level. So it is strange playing with a mouse and keyboard. But what I've been meaning to do, I just haven't gotten around to, is I've been meaning to kind of make some friends on Steam so I can roll with them and we can just destroy pugs. Because to me, it's just not worth it to play in a pug group in that game because you're just going to get rolled on, man. And it's so frustrating when that happens. And I remember when my friend stopped playing it and then we had kind of lost contact and I got into a match. It was so frustrating because people would just run ahead with a boomer and get shot from like 20 yards away. And it's like you'd be on the mic trying to strategize with people. Hey, man, wait until everybody spawns up. And then I'll go in and pounce on them with the hunter. And then the boomer can come up when they're trying to take care of that, and someone can charge this guy off a cliff, and then Smoker pull the last guy away, and we'll win. And everybody was like, yeah, fuck you, I'm just going to do my thing. So playing in bugs, it sucks. Even with Warhammer Vermintide, I'm finding, This really isn't the kind of game you want to play with just a random community, because people tend to just suck and want to do their own thing and play it Rambo style. And these are team-based games. It's just far more enjoyable with your friends. So if I can get a group of my subscribers together who are interested in playing Left 4 Dead 2 and who are interested in playing Warhammer Vermintide, hit me up. I am EQA Nostalgia on Steam. I'm definitely interested in getting down on that, you know. It's not going to be anything too try hard where people are like screaming at each other. I don't like that kind of environment. But it's definitely going to be a competitive setting. I want to win. But, I'm not going to be toxic and scream at people, because there is a thin line between, being someone who wants to win and being a complete try-hard asshat. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I haven't talked about Left 4 Dead, and I don't even know what to call this video. I don't know if I'm going to call it discussion or retrospective. I don't know. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of Left 4 Dead. Have you played Warhammer Vermintide? What do you think of it? Do you think it's just a Left 4 Dead clone with no originality, or do you enjoy it? Have you played it yet? I like it when people are interactive, when they actually comment on my videos, because then I know that they're staying interested. Please take a moment to rate this video thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I ask that you please subscribe. I thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.